officially decided I was going to leave my job. I always envisioned to walk in the job and leave like this.
You're cool, and you, I'm out.
But since I'm actually in a different industry, it will look more like this. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board. I have 2 words. I quit. Actually, I have 3. I quit. I didn't do any of those. I absolutely loved my job. I loved the company. There was one of the only ones who gave me a chance to be a flight attendant for over 10 years. In this video, I'm going to take y'all on the 10-year journey. We're going to go back. Way back.
Black rose, black rose, black rose, black rose, black rose in the sky. Black rose, black rose, black rose, black rose, black rose in the sky. Black rose, black rose, black rose, black.
What's going on, beautiful people? I am Lando Success, your favorite motivational teacher, and now ex-flight attendant, retired flight attendant. It sounds crazy even saying it out loud. 10 years later, I decided to hang it up, and I'm going to tell you guys about it in this video. Usually, I would do a YouTube video from about 10 to 15 minutes breaking down what's going on. But with this video, I wanted to do some research and see what other flight attendants were saying and why I quit or left the airlines video. And I did that, and I know people was doing 1-hour videos, and they was just sitting back and just kicking it with their followers and viewers. So I decided to do the same. Instead of me doing a quick video, I'm going to do one breaking everything down. So I have a game plan with this video. So this video, I'm going to break down how did I become a flight attendant. I'm going to walk y'all through the process. Once I get hired, year 1, year 2, year 3, up to probably about year 5 or year 6. And to how I get where I'm at now from when I started my own crash pads. First time going to Brazil, to deciding to leave and what I plan on doing next. I know a lot of you came on this video to see, Lando, what are you doing next? Are you going to another airlines, anything like that? To find out right now. Some of y'all don't want to watch this whole thing. Some of y'all know me. Some of y'all already read my book. Y'all just want to know, what do I have planned next? All you got to do is press that like button. Press that like button right now and subscribe. And I'll tell you, press it. See, I'm becoming a transporter. I'm going to transport vehicles all around the world. See, you just had to press a like button, but it's more to it, and you have to watch the whole YouTube to see it. Now, since this is a celebration, we're gonna sit back because it's story time. So I want y'all to sit back. You can put this in your ear. You don't even have to watch this YouTube, as long as you're listening to it. For celebration purposes, we have Clase Azul. So when you open this, because this is like a bell, you pose a, it's like a, sweet. So we got some tequila. We gonna sip some tequila in my beautiful Yeti cup. If you haven't already, go watch my Yeti YouTube review that I recently did, breaking down how amazing their product is. And Yeti, if you ever like to sponsor me, come on over to the dark side. And once I'm finished, we gotta have a good old cigar. It's an Oliva. If you like cigars or if you like tequila, let me know in the comments what's your favorite to-go cigar. So, before we get started, let's have a quick water break. So what's dope, in the description tab, once you click that little button, I'm going to have a breakdown from year 1 to starting a crash pad to pros and cons about being a flight attendant. I'm going to have all the tab and the timestamps. So some of y'all want to just fast forward to what you want to know. You'll be able to see all of that. You don't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to, but it helped me out with view hours and things like that if you do watch the whole video. So just go ahead, sit back and relax. So what most people don't know, I went to a flight attendant interview when I was 19 years old. It was by the airport. It's actually up the street from here, and it was for Pinnacle Airlines. I wonder if any of y'all even know what Pinnacle Airlines is. So it was for Pinnacle, but I think the requirement was you had to be 21 to be a flight attendant with them. So I went there, and once they seen that I wasn't 21, they like, hey, just please come back when you're 21. So I actually had it in my back mind to become a flight attendant pretty early. So I started off in the airport. For people that's not in Detroit, the way it go, once you get an airport job, one of your friends be like, hey, at this concession stands, at this little store, I can get you hired in, $7 an hour type of deal. Once you get in the airport and build those relationships, it's like a fraternity. So you'll go from this place to Fuddruckers, then Fuddruckers, I went to this place. Then I got hired with Northwest Airlines as a ramper, throwing the bags on the planes, right? Getting hired with Northwest, I had those flight benefits. It was a game changer. And when I'm working with other coworkers, they talking about them going to Asia, them going to Brazil and different places around the world. But I'm young at this time, so I wasn't ready to travel like them. And I only stayed with them probably a year or two when they merged over to Delta. Fast forward some years later, I am managing a bar and coffee shop in Detroit Airport. So if you ever go to Detroit Airport now, the Coffee Beanery, I was running those, and it was a bar downstairs by baggage claim. I was running that also, and I will always see flight attendants and pilots come in, and we'd talk, we'd kick it, and I would think like, damn, that'd be dope to be a flight attendant or a pilot, but I didn't want to spend the money to go to college or the flight school and stuff to become a pilot. I'm like, flight attendant wouldn't be too bad. Chick named Heather, I think she worked for Continental at the time. She walked up talking to me. I'm asking her how the job. She's like, man, you should apply. You should really do it. I'm like, you think so? We exchanged numbers, exchanged social media, and that was the start of my process of wanting to become a flight attendant. Those who read my book, y'all know it was not a one and done easy process. I had to go interview after interview after interview, and I had to keep on increasing my skills to become better. Come to find out, I had a fraudulent activity on my background information where I had felonies and things like that. So I'm going to all of these interviews, acing it, but they still wasn't hiring me during the background process time because I was a criminal. I was a criminal at the time, but it wasn't my stuff on my information until I finally out from talking to one of the recruiters. She's like, hey, I don't supposed to tell you this, but go check out your background information. So I did that. Fast forward, my dad always told me Mesa was the company. Kept on saying, he like, man, you ain't giving Mesa no shot, because during this time, 10 years ago, when you're trying to research these airlines, you had Indeed forms and people would talk about how to get hired, how was the airlines, and everybody shitted on Mesa the most. You got to take out trash, it's unprofessional, it's this and this and this. So I avoided applying for them the whole time. My dad like, yo, you need to platform, they're going to be the one. Fast forward a year later, they're the only ones who gave me an opportunity. Actually, SkyWest too. I did get hired with SkyWest, but that's a whole nother story. You have to read the book to find that out. So fast forward to year one. I just became a flight attendant. I got based in Chicago. So I'm excited because Detroit, Chicago, 45-minute flight. It's about to be a breeze. When you first get hired as a flight attendant and you're a commuter, goal number one is to find a place to live, because in training, nobody really helps you with that. It's kind of, they just ship you to Chicago and it's like good luck. So you're trying to network with people and talking to other classmates. Hey, where you gonna stay at? Oh, I'm staying with a cousin. Where you staying at? Oh, me and these people get roommates. Me and these people, we gonna get a room together. So you're trying to figure it out. I forgot how I got into my first crash pad, but it was me and a girl that was from class, Sandy. And I think she started the crash pad, and it was her and a bunch of girls. She's, MCL, I love you. You can come stay with us. I love you. Like, Sandy's bubbly. I love Sandy to death, right? So I'm in here as a 24-year-old. It's nothing but drop dead gorgeous woman in this crash pad. So it's just young black brother with all these good looking women. I'm like, this shit is everything for like 1 or 2 months. And after that, you can't get no bathroom time. Shit ain't work out. So I ended up leaving to go to a crash pad not too far from there, where it was an apartment. Because the first one was a hotel. It was, think of when you have 2 hotel rooms and you have that connecting door. So you open the door, so it was us in 2 kind of rooms. The second one was an apartment. But in the apartment, the brother had bunk beds over here, you had beds over there. So it's kind of crazy. And I was only paying $125 a month. So it's year one, you're not making no money. So the only thing you had was to go out and explore and try to turn up the most you can with little bit of money. So I perfected that with my boy Nick. So me and Nick, we literally hit the town. Every day we found out what places was popping up. Mondays, On Tuesdays, we know this place is Martini Bar. Can't wait to go back there, actually. They was doing $5 martinis, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday. This place doing like $1, $2 sliders. The clubs. Oh my gosh. We went clubbing. Every Friday and Saturday, we was out clubbing. One day I was out, I linked up with a party promoter. Brother, completely, he was the plug. So he like, yo, every Friday, I can get y'all in for free, and I can get y'all 3 free drinks. Did you say free and 3 free drinks? Yeah, it came with a catch. To get in for free, first you had to be there before 10. The club didn't get popping till like midnight. So you're there 2 hours early. The 3 free drinks was like the whale, bottom of the barrel, cheapest of the cheap vodka that you never heard of. But we's broke, boss. We don't have no monies anyway. So, you know. Then you had the blue line. I have my little notes right here. The blue line, right? So for my people that live in Michigan or place where it's not transportation savvy. In Michigan, if you don't have a car, you're not getting around. Chicago, I know people that's 30, 40 years old that never had a car because you don't need one out there. So think of the airport. So you're at the airport, you go into the Bat Cave, and there's a tunnel that take you to a train, right? Pay $5. The train called the Blue Line will take you far as hell. So it'll take you right to downtown. Then if you want to go to the hood, you hop on a red line and it'll take you over here to the hood. You want to go to this side of Chicago, you hop on a brown line, take you over there. So you learn how to work the trains. And coming from Michigan, I never rode a train a day in my life, but it was very efficient and it was everything. Like, I have so many Blue Line stories. Like, even on my Facebook, I started like a Blue Line album of people falling asleep, passing out in there. Because it's so funny, you'll have like a homeless person sitting next to a rich person sitting next to the Asian sitting next to the black person. Just the diversity was crazy. It took me a while to get used to it because Michigan is kind of segregated. It's kind of spread it out, right? So year two was the year of traveling. Because once you got off of reserve, like my first 6 months, I was on reserve. That basically means on call. You don't know what the hell you're going to do, where you're going to go. You're just sitting in the airport, hot and ready. Hey, just chilling. Hey, Lando, we need you to go fly to Portland, Maine. All right, cool. Go to Portland, Maine, come back. All right, sit your ass in the airport for another 3 hours. Then go home for 2 days. So that was reserve life. You hate it because you don't have a schedule and you can't plan out your life properly. But once you get aligned, that's when you got a set schedule. You know where you're going, who you're going with, and you know all the good things about it, right? So it took me 6 months. So it took me 6 months to get my first line. Then after that, I would get it, then not get it because I was on that borderline. Then after a year, I finally held a line, and I never looked back since. For my friends that watch this, my years is going to sound a little off, but for YouTube purposes and to keep it simple, hell I'm going with. So year 2 was my year of traveling. Like, since Nick was my roommate, this is my right-hand man, we will literally be off tomorrow and be like, yo, let's do a day trip to New York. Like, meaning we'll wake up 6 in the morning, be the first flight from Chicago on Spirit going to New York. We will land in New York. We would turn the hell up, go see the Eiffel Towers and go like right down the middle of Manhattan, go get some good pizza, turn up, take our ass back to the airport at 7, take that last flight right back. And think of that, just being able to go to New York to just go eat some pizza, take some pictures. That is an amazing experience. That's one great thing about the job. Also, we end up going to Brazil. That is like always was my dream. Black brother from Inkster, going to Brazil, that would be everything. So I walk on a plane one day, introduce myself to the pilot. She walks to the left, like, hey, what's up, y'all? And I hear them talking about Brazil. It was a black first officer. He's like, yeah, I'm going to Brazil, blah, blah. And I'm walking out, turn around. Did somebody just say Brazil? He's like, yeah, I've been 12 times. This will be my 13th time. Wait, what? You've been, huh? When are you going? I'm going in February. I'm going for the Carnival. The Carnival. I always wanted to go to Carnival. I was like, I'm going. Never met this brother a day in my life. I'm like, I'm going. He's like, you serious? Yes. Say less. So he told me what to do to get my Brazilian visa, go to the consul. And it was a crazy process for me to do it. I convinced my boy Nick to go do it. It was so funny, man. That's a whole nother story of him going to go get his. He was on ready when he left to go get his. Yeah, we did some stuff that we probably shouldn't have done. I did what it took to be able to go down there. And what made it so funny is the person we went to go stay with, he used to be a pilot with our airlines. So my man's, he's like, yo, we're going to go stay with a guy who used to be a pilot. I took him there 2 years ago and he quit Mesa, moved out to Brazil, learned Portuguese, and ended up dating this Brazilian, which he's happened to be married with right now. So he literally left his job, moved to Brazil, learned Portuguese, and found him a chick. He said the hell with it. So people wonder how much fun it is. But that's a whole nother YouTube. That would take up too much space talking about Brazil. Also, we went to Oktoberfest. I seen a movie. I don't know if it's called Oktoberfest. If you remember this movie, write it in the comments. It was a movie about Oktoberfest, and they had the big boot, and you basically drink the boot of beer. I always watch that, and I'm like, man, that'd be crazy in Germany to get some German beer and all that type of fun stuff, right? Since I'm a flight attendant, and I got somebody that's single, no kids with me, come on, man. We're going to Germany. Once you're in the industry, you know so many other people that's about that life. So we linked up with coworkers that went down there. And to be honest, to this day, Oktoberfest was the biggest party I ever went to in my life. Like, I would try to show you guys a video. Do I got any old videos? Jesus, it was crazy. Wondering if this was a good idea to do this, because it's only like 1 o'clock and I'm drinking tequila and I'm already kind of buzzed, so y'all might get some good stories out of this. YOLO. In year 3, year three things kind of slowed down because that was the year of me taking care of my dad. So I moved in with my dad because he became legally blind, and we built our relationships. In the book you can read and learn about our relationship. But his health started to go down and he needed me to be home more and more. After a while, he just like, yo, I'll pay for you to drop your trips. You the person, because since we lived together and I handle all his finances, I had to handle all his doctor's appointments. Him doing what anybody else, they didn't know how he rolled, and he'd just get frustrated and it just didn't work out. So he like, yo, if you home, I'll pay you. What your job gonna pay you? You gonna make $200 this trip? I give you $150. You don't got to go out there, just pay somebody to do it. All right. So I was definitely with him more, going to appointments, and we even traveled to Miami because he wanted to find the best of the best eye surgeon doctors ever outside of Michigan. So he found it in Miami. Oh, you want to go to Miami? I'm paying. Yes, I would like to go to Miami. So we went to, I think, the University of Miami to go interview with the doctors, and it was a successful trip, but we did have a good time. So that was like an amazing year because we spent that time together. We took a trip to Miami. Life was good, but unfortunately my father did pass. I think that was in year 2014. It was actually in March. So the anniversary of his death is about to come up, and I was in Vegas when he ended up passing, but y'all will learn about that. Y'all gonna keep on hearing me saying, hey, y'all gonna learn about that in the book. Hence, that's just a play for y'all to buy my book. It is available on all platforms, from iBooks to Amazon to Kindle e-reader, all that stuff. So go check it out. Rest in peace to my father, because I would have never became a flight attendant if it wasn't for him having the encouragement, having the money, having the support, having the love, and having my back. For me to write my first book, he the one that told me to do it. So it's amazing to have somebody that have your back and roll with you. All you need is one person, and in this case, it was definitely my dad. So shout out to him. Year 4, I switched bases. Actually, let's rewind. I didn't necessarily switch bases. Chicago closed. So the company like, hey, we're closing our base. I never been through that before because all you know is this your base, is where you fly at. And they like, yo, we closing it. Fuck, what base I'm gonna go to now? You had your options of like Phoenix, Washington, D.C., randomly Hawaii, and which I did want to go to Hawaii, and Charlotte. So I'm like, man, I'm tired of commuting. I'm just gonna move to Charlotte and switch my base out there. So I had the game plan to go to Charlotte. And right before that, we got a notification. Hey, Charlotte is closing their base. But we are opening 2 new bases, Houston and Dallas. Hey, Houston and Dallas. Oh, my boy just moved to Dallas too. I'm like, hey, let's go to Dallas though. Let's go to Dallas. So I end up switching my base to Dallas on the American side. So I went from flying on the United side, Dallas side, flying under the American side. And it was a shit show because the company just started a new base and we had like East Coast, West Coast rivalries and like, there's like some airline gangbang and stuff. Not all, but I would say 80% of flights out of Dallas went out delayed. And since they went out delayed, the passengers was mad at the flight attendants mad. I would have lost my job staying in Dallas. I lasted 3 months and I got my ass out of there and I went to Houston. The dope thing about Houston, having people all around the world, I had my boy Dan Rail in Houston. He's from Detroit also. And this young single brother out in Houston, we hit every single club there is. This brother had me, we'll go to like 5 clubs in one day. So shout out to him because we had a whole heap of fun. And he put me on Papacitos. If y'all never been to Papacitos, because we go, it's like Mexican restaurant, obviously, right? We go there and I see him drinking this big ass, feminine looking, the hell you call them, like a daiquiri or can't even think the name of it. We just gonna say a daiquiri. It's like one of those little things, right? And I'm looking, I'm like, oh, that's very manly of you right now. Hey, man, this should have fucked you up. Try it. All right, I get one. I got halfway through and I just looked at him. He was like, that shit hitting, ain't it? Yeah, it is. So go get your margarita. That's what it is. Go get your margarita at Papacitos. Tell them I sent you. You'll be done for after that one, so don't get 2. Just get 1. Around this time, this is when I meet my wife. Now, I known her and met her when we was based in Chicago. We was both based in Chicago together, but never really seen each other in Chicago. We just was friends. She had a boyfriend. Me, I had hoes. Actually, I had a lot of hoes. But we was doing our thing. We was cool. We were just friends. And that relationship started to grow and grow and grow. And, some years later, get that ring, dog. And which I said I would never probably marry a flight attendant. Go figure. In year 5, we end up going to Dubai. So, all right, let me tell you the backstory behind Dubai. Let me get close. All right, so it's Christmas Day. So imagine this, Christmas Day, everybody excited, Christmas, right? And I'm scrolling Facebook like a regular person, and I see one of my friends do a post say, oh my God, there's a glitch in the system, y'all. There's a glitch in the system going from JFK to Abu Dhabi round trip is $100 and something. Confirmed seat. I'm like, she's bullshitting. It ain't no confirmed seat, right? So I'm Expedia, Abu Dhabi to so-and-so. And they said you had to book it out like far in advance, right? In September. So I see it. It was $187. I booked it immediately. No questions asked. I booked it immediately and I did a Facebook status telling everybody, every single one of my friends, I'm like, yo, I don't care what y'all doing. Get this ticket. Get it now. I tagged like 50 people. I promise y'all, not one person went. I text every single one of my friends. I did statuses. I'm tagging everybody. Everybody had excuse and everybody was broke. Remember, this Christmas. People just spent all their money on Christmas gifts. And I'm like, yo, extra 100, extra 200. really 187 right now, and people couldn't justify you wasn't getting your value back of that $187 until September next year. So you're almost going a year, you're booking out a year in advance. I'm like, y'all can get y'all passports and everything later. So I end up telling my ex-girlfriend, I'm like, hey man, I know you hate me, but you did say you always wanted to go to Dubai. Ticket price, she booked it immediately. So the glitch went away. It only lasted like 3 hours, right? So it was like 500 people that got in on this glitch. So they started a Facebook group like, hey, you know, when y'all going, who's going to these dates? Let's link up. So me and my ex-girlfriend, our dates were similar. We found a bunch of group of flight attendants that booked it. Their dates were similar. So we all end up getting a room and staying with like 6 random flight attendants. And the trip turned out amazing. I probably got a video of that turn up. I loved it, man. And people were so jealous to this day. $187 on a confirmed seat. If y'all watching this and you missed out on that, y'all broke ass and should have had $200. What's up, everybody? Look how beautiful this is. This hold up to 40,000 people. I don't want to say the name because I'm completely mess it up. Oh yeah, and to bring it full circle, by the time the trip happened, me and my ex-girlfriend was back in a relationship. So we was able to go as a relationship couple to Dubai. That's my wife. Year 6. So my original plan was to come into the airline game, and I started regional. That's Mesa, you know, we fly for United. And then go over to mainline, which is like Delta and all that type of stuff, right? That was the original plan. Once I got in the industry, I learned how a lot of mainline carriers will have you on reserve for 20 years, 15 years. Like, that's too long to not, like, the quality of life is a little bit better. You're making more money, but while Mesa, I was only able to be there a year and get a set schedule. So I knew I didn't want to do this as a career. So I'm like, let me just do this for 5 years, enjoy my quality of life where I can go home, visit my dad, go take trips outside of work, and then leave and go do something else, right? So that was my 5-year plan. Right around that time it came up, I'm looking, I'm like, yo, I think I want to, it's time to leave. I'm about to get my CDLs and become a truck driver and go from the air to the ground, right? So I started the process to get my CDLs and everything. And I was talking to my best friend and his dad. His dad was like, yo, you know, don't quit the airlines because he been flying for free most of his life. You know, he's been in the business. He's like, yo, don't quit your job. I have a way you can do both. Like, what you mean to do both? He was like, become a transporter where you can transport these RVs, UPS trucks, all type of stuff around. And since you got flight benefits, you will make double the money because you don't have to pay for your own flights and transportation. Like, that sounds amazing, and it sounds too good to be true. He was like, just the only thing is you got to find out how to get time away from work to be able to do it, or figure it out. Just apply right now. So I listened to him. I applied immediately. I got in with them and they emailed me. They like, yo, your orientation is next month. Whoop-de-whoop. So I'm like, damn, how I'm going to be able to figure this out? This how the universe, whether you believe in God or not, we just going to say the universe. This is how the universe works. When you put a certain type of energy out there, because I had a goal. My goal was to leave and become a truck driver. And I shared it with other people. You know, sometimes you don't tell people all your stuff, but you know, good energy people, I shared it with them. And with me sharing that with my friend Dad, he had an opportunity for me. I took advantage of that action. And why did my company email me saying we are starting a new thing? Same day, we're starting a new thing called LOA, leave of absence, where you get to keep your flight benefits, keep your health benefits. You just don't get paid for the month, and you just got to pay your health benefits out of pocket or when you come back to work. Look at God. Like, come on, y'all. If that's not perfect timing, like, that's just crazy. That's how it worked. So for the next like 6 months, I was on leave of absence and I was able to drive full time. So I was able to get my miles, figure out that industry. So when I came back to work, I was able to manipulate and do both. Starting A Crashpad. So when I was in Chicago, since I'm entrepreneur minded, my mindset always was to start a crash pad because, one, I like to make money. Number two, I want my money to work for me even when I'm not working. And number three, I wanted to take advantage of the industry I was in. If I'm a flight attendant, I need a crash pad. I know other people need crash pads. I already have an inside. It's kind of an inside job. I already have the inside scoop of doing it, right? So I tried to do it in Chicago, but didn't fall through all the way with it because the base ended up closing, right? So when our new base in Louisville opened up, my boy was like, yo, I'm about to be the base admin out here. You always said you want to start a crash pad. Telling people, speaking into existence. He like, yo, well, you'll have me to be able to help you. Have my girlfriend, she'll be able to help you. They both was flight attendants. Let's do it. That process, for people that's going to be in the comments and going to ask me a million questions on how to start a crash pad, right? I started with an apartment crash pad. It's going to cost you $4,000. You need $4,000 to put everything you need in this apartment. You got to buy the bunk beds. You got to buy all the cleaning utensils. You got to buy the TV. You got to get cable. You got to have the dishes, the stuff, all that type of deal. Then you got to pay the deposit for the apartment. You have to pay the last month rent. So you kind of need furniture. So then I have my boy Jeremy that live out there. So started a whole big partnership. The crash pad industry, you can ask me. You can message me on Lando Success if you want more information on that. But turned out great. We made a lot of money. We helped a lot of people have a place to stay. And the only reason we closed it because the pandemic happened.
Coronavirus! I'm telling you, shit is...
Kept shutting it down because the business started going down and a lot of flight attendants was taking leaves. So ended up closing up. Overall, it worked out. We made money. Happy we did it. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Ophelia. And thank you, Jeremy. All right. The pros and cons of being a flight attendant. People want to know. They want to know all the juicy stuff. What's the pros? We always start with the good note. The pros is the obvious. You get to fly for free. Imagine that. If you go look at a ticket to go to LA or Miami right now on trip, it's going to be like $500. Long as there are open seats, my black ass get to do that for free. And that's worth it for me. Past security. Since I like to travel, I don't like the hassle of being a regular civilian and going through security and being late. Let me show you my badge. And let me go through security. So KCM and security advantages is great. And we have some people that use that for the bag. Remember old girl and was it Florida girl that worked for JetBlue that ended up? I ain't even gonna put that negative energy on my channel. Next thing is networking. And this industry, I am friends with people that I met on the plane till this day. Business partners you can have. Just if you're a sociable person and you are working on business and goals, you want to have access to different type of people that you wouldn't have. I'll give you a story. I was working first class one day, and me and my friends every year, we go do our guys trip, right? Do a Memorial Weekend. And usually you have the all black party, have the all white party. And I'm like, yo, I need an all white watch because I'm a watch head. You know, I got, this is the Citizen, Citizen watch, right? So I was going through my Citizen phase, getting a bunch of different watches. I had the all black one, but I wanted the all white one. So I'm thinking of this on the plane, like, man, you know, I just got finished Googling it and it's probably like $300 or whatever the price it was. And I see a passenger that I'm taking care of. He on his drinks, you know, he's being real respectful. I see him with like a Citizen booklet magazine. And I'm like, yo, I love Citizens too, blah, blah, blah. He's like, yeah, I'm like the VP of, he was like, yeah, I'm like the VP of Citizen. What? I'm like, bro, man, I was just looking at this all white watch I wanted. He was like, oh, this all white watch right here that's in the magazine. So he had a bunch of sample watches and stuff. I'm like, yes. He was like, how about this? I will connect you with my distribution manager in Chicago Here goes his email, here goes his name, his number. Tell him I sent you and he'll hook you up. I got this 50% off from a guy I met on the plane, a passenger. The watch I wanted, and say less, all white party. So yeah, networking is amazing. The job itself is really not hard. In the grand scheme of things, you're handing out peanuts, serving coffee, and giving people drinks. That's it. You know, it gets more to that, but it's easy. Then you get to go into a random hotel. Sometimes you get to get the free points, go work out, eat, get paid to travel and go around the town and go to the Riverwalk in San Antonio, go to basketball games. My thing was, if I had a decent overnight, I would go to StubHub and see, or Ticketmaster, and see if there's any type of event going on and get the cheapest ticket possible, see who game to go, and just go to a basketball game or baseball game or something for nothing. Gotta enjoy it. Now the cons. The bad things about being a flight attendant is less family time. If you are a family-oriented person, if you're in a relationship, if you have people you like to see, you don't get to see them as much, and it sucks. Like for me, I was young, I didn't want to be home. So it was cool to a certain extent. Then remember, you got to deal with deaths and stuff. Your dad getting sick, your ass want to be home. You got birthdays. So imagine if you got kids and it's their 10th birthday or 16th birthday or first birthday, but you can't be there because you're on reserve. So you're going to miss birthdays. You're going to miss celebrations. You're going to miss weddings. You're going to miss a lot of things in this industry while you're playing this cat toy and you're stuck in Boise, Idaho for 36 hours, man. So that's an honest, tough part, right? The next thing is commuting. Since I was a commuter the whole time, for the most part, I had crash pads and stuff in different bases, but for the most part, I was a commuter. That is a job on top of another job. So for y'all that seen my last YouTube, the last YouTube I just recently did broke down my last flight as a flight attendant. And I showed you guys, I wake up first thing in the morning, I gotta go drive to airlines parking, I gotta go to the airport, pray that I make this flight, get to work possibly sometime 3, 4, 5 hours early because the flights was looking bad. Then I start my work day. And then when the work is over with, I'm praying that it's a flight that can get me home. If not, I'm stuck out in base. Commuting sucks. So if you ever decide to be a flight attendant, try to do everything you can to not commute and live at base because it is tough. Last thing is money. The saying in our industry is you would not become rich being a flight attendant. You're not going to make a lot of money. Now, there's two sides of it because there are flight attendants that make a lot of money. But for the most part, you're not working, your work hours is not the same as when you're a civilian where you're working 40 hours a week. So if you're working 40 hours a week, you're doing 40, 80, 20, you're doing 160 hours a month, right? Our guarantee is 75 hours a month. So worst case scenario, you're guaranteed 75 hours. So you're working half the time that you're used to working, but you're making a little bit more money. So if you're making $22, it balances out to a certain extent, but it really don't kick in until your later years when you're only working guaranteed 75 hours, but you're making $55. You're almost close to the end. My goals moving forward. A lot of people want to know, because people been in this industry so long and they are scared to hit that quit button and to leave. Best decision I ever made because, well, I will tell y'all that part last, right? But my decision moving forward is to grow my YouTube channel. Y'all see what I'm doing now? I want to be monetized and I want to have a serious amount of income coming in monthly for me to do what I love, teaching people how to make money and then teaching people what to do with their money. This channel started as a page just teaching people how to become flight attendants. I helped well over 20 people become flight attendants and a lot of people with this page. So it started that way, then I evolved the channel. So I want to keep growing that. My main source of income will be transporting with a company called Horizon Transport. If you ever want to look into it, reach out to me on my Lando Success page. Just inbox me, or a lot of y'all get my number. I'm accessible. Just reach out to me on Instagram or however you want to do it. But you do need your CDLs. You do need a truck driver's license with the company I'm with. And yes, you can make crazy money. While I was with Mesa, while I had a job, I was still making over 60 grand driving trucks. So imagine if I leave and go full time with that, how much money I can make. Next thing is to come out with one book a year. Once you become an author, it's like somebody getting their first tattoo. You want another one, you want another one. You get addicted. Dropping my first book is amazing. It's the best feeling ever. And I'm going to release another one probably this year. But I wanted that time to be able to focus on writing where I can, help out kids, help out different people, help out people with relationships. So my goal is to drop one book a year because it's a great addiction. And that's followed up with speaking. Once I released my book, I started going to schools, speaking to the youth, teaching them how to become a flight attendant, teaching them ways how to make money. And that is the greatest feeling ever due to the pandemic. Haven't been able to do it. I can't wait till I start traveling all across the world, speaking to kids in universities. Anybody ever want to book me, feel free to reach out because I do that for free for kids. But for grown-ups and universities, I'm going to charge that back. And also, while I'm home, I do DoorDash, Ship, Uber Eats, Grubhub. I do a lot of gig jobs to make money. And I average over $200 a day when I'm doing it. I will teach y'all. I'm going to actually probably do a YouTube breaking down how to make as much money as I make a day doing it. Because most people don't believe it. Is you actually can make more money than, I can show you how to make 50 grand a year right now doing fucking DoorDash and Uber Eats. Think of that. Without no degree, you just need a car and some insurance. But that's a whole nother video. Last thing I want to talk to you guys about is how to quit your job. You came here, Lando, you did it. How can I do it? Step one, grab your pen and paper. Step one is have a game plan. Do not quit your job just off the YOLO, just off doing it because you hate your job. No, you gotta think smart. You gotta have a game plan. Remember, I told you guys my game plan was to be a flight attendant for 5 years, then become a truck driver. It didn't happen exactly that way, but it happened kind of in that realm because I was coaching myself to already mentally be there. Second thing is make sure you're going to make equal or enough money when you leave your job, because the worst thing is leaving your job and can't live the same way you were and be okay financially. So you have to put yourself in that position to be able to do that. So saying, for example, if you need to work on other skills while you're working this job, if you need to start an online school to get a degree or online certifications, do it because you can put yourself in a position to make more money. The next thing is stop being so scared. Y'all are so scared, man. Put the ball in your own hands. Like, I know what I'm capable of doing because I know I'm going to go 120,000%. I'm going to ball out. Stop being scared to stop building somebody else's dreams. You're making somebody else rich when you're working for them. They started a business. They had dreams. They had goals and they did it. And now you work for them and you're helping them increase their wealth and achieve their goals and their dreams. And it's okay to use as a stepping stone, but you can't be scared. After a while, you just have to leap out on faith and leap out on your potential. So don't be scared. Think of Nike. Sometimes you just got to do it. The last thing is enjoy the moments. When people do things, they always regret it because they didn't live it to the fullest. Have you ever met somebody that always talk about high school, always talk about high school football, basketball, when there's a cheerleader? Man, when I was in high school, we used to do this. High school's high school. And usually a lot of people, they didn't go 110% at it. When I was in high school, I did football, wrestling, track. I turned up with my friends. I did all of it. So when it was over, I gave high school everything I had. I didn't miss it. It was a great experience because now I'm on to the next thing. So when I was at my job as a flight attendant, if you ever met me, I'm going to give you maximum effort. We're going to turn the fuck up. We're going to have a good time. I'm going to have good energy. And once I left the industry, I don't miss it because people are like, man, you're going to miss it. Not necessarily, because that was a part of my life. That chapter is over. I gave it everything. I turned up. And to make it even simplistic, I really haven't worked in the last few years. I've been on leave of absence and stuff. So I really haven't been a real flight attendant lately. Been more of a truck driver, if anything. So I wanted to talk to you guys. This is the longest YouTube I ever have done. I don't even know if you made it to the end, write in the comments I made it. Because I would love to see who actually watched this whole thing. And just let me know if you made it. If you watched it all, make sure you like the page because that gives the YouTube algorithm love and they tell everybody that people are liking it. So keep on watching it. Definitely try to write a comment because that helped the YouTube algorithm and also you watching it and subscribing. I appreciate all of you guys. Since I'm about finished, I should chug the rest of the shit now. Sounds like a terrible idea. I just chugged some $200 tequila. Terrible decision. I'm out. And I will always encourage people to become a flight attendant because worst case scenario, you can just quit. You don't like it. And one of the main reasons I end up leaving with another reason, it's like when I started, I was 24 years old. Now I'm 34. I'm a grown man. Now I have a wife. Now I have a kid. You want to be home more. So different situations for different people. But I definitely say, try it. Do it. I got your back. Do it.
Oh,